Hello, this is attorney Tara Hutchinson with Pittsburgh Family Law Services. Today I wanted to shift gears. Instead of talking about something related to divorce, I wanted to talk about how you can protect your family in the event that you are suddenly unable to do so, including if you are detained or if you are no longer able to live in the U.S. or live with your family. The inspiration for this video, of course, is because it's April 29th, 2025 right now. Seemingly every day when you turn on the news, we are hearing stories about people who have been detained by ICE. There is no predictability to it. They are being detained in some cases for several weeks at a time, away from their families. They're even getting removed from the U.S. entirely, again, away from their families. They can't access their bank accounts. They can't care for their children. We're hearing about this every single day. So because of that, there is a lot of concern about how to protect, for how people can protect their kids in the event that this happens to them. And like I said, there is a lot of anxiety about it because there are stories in the news about people who are allowed to live in the U.S. who are still getting detained. So there is understandably a lot of concern, a lot of fear about is there any way to protect my family, to make sure that they're taken care of if I am detained or I am removed from the country, but they are not able to come with me. And so I want to talk about the ways you can do that in Pennsylvania. I will say at the very beginning, I am not an immigration lawyer. I do not know the nuances of the ways that you can stay in the U.S. legally. You would have to talk to somebody who focuses on immigration law in order to get the answers to those questions. I will also say, because this is, at the time that I'm recording this is a controversial topic. I'm not here to debate what's going on. I'm not here to debate whether the concern is realistic, whether it's not realistic. That's not the purpose. That's not the purpose of this video. I always look at my role as, you have these legal documents and you put them in place to protect you in the future if they ever need to be used. So whether anybody's concern is realistic or not, or if it's justified or not, that's not what I'm focused on. I am hearing a lot of people very worried about what would happen to their families if they were suddenly detained and unable to provide for them. So that's why I'm doing this video today. So with that being said, in Pennsylvania, the two major mechanisms to give your family this protection would be a financial power of attorney and a standby guardianship designation. So I'm just going to talk very, very briefly about both of those documents and what they do. So a financial power of attorney is giving somebody access to exactly what it sounds like, to your financial information. So this person can access your bank accounts, they can pay your bills, they could sell property if it became necessary. They can do the same things that you would be able to do. There are some nuances to a financial power of attorney document depending on how it is structured. But you can authorize somebody to act almost exactly as if you were there yourself. And in situations where the concern is, I'm not going to be able to care for my family because, I may not have access to my bank account, for example, that is where that's where this document can really provide a lot of protections, because it gives the other person, it gives your agent that authority to act on your behalf. The other document is the standby guardianship document, and what that does is it gives it gives another person authority to care for your minor children. Again, they would be functioning as if they were you, as if they would be functioning as your children's legal guardian during the time that you're unable to do so. So those are the two main documents in Pennsylvania that we are using to give people some protection. To give them a way to make sure that their families will be cared for if for some reason they're unable to do so. Now, I just went through those documents very quickly, so the natural question that comes up is, do I really need a lawyer, or is this something that I can do on my own, or can I do this through LegalZoom? My answer to that is always going to be, I do not believe you should do this on your own. There are nuances to both of these documents that I would not be able to get into in a quick video that's 10 minutes or less. There may be other estate planning that you'll need. There may be other considerations that you have. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's situation is unique. So a lawyer will be able to go through all of that with you in detail and help you determine what you need. I will say that as you're thinking about this, if this is something you think that you want to do, definitely give a lot of thought as to who you are appointing, who you want to appoint as your agent, and who you want to appoint as the guardian. By the very nature of these documents, these individuals have very, very broad authority. You're talking about somebody who has full access to your bank accounts and your financial information, who can sell your property. It's a huge level of power. It's a huge level of authority. So you really need to make sure that this is somebody you trust. Same thing with the standby guardianship. This person will have the ability to make major decisions on behalf of your children. So make sure that this is somebody you are truly comfortable with and who you completely trust before you appoint them as a standby guardian. Again, all of this can be discussed with a lawyer. I definitely recommend that if this is something you're concerned about, that you speak with a lawyer. As I say at the end of all of my videos, I am a lawyer, but I am not your lawyer. So if you have specific questions or concerns about your unique situation, make sure to contact somebody in your local area who can assist you further. So I hope that very brief information is helpful. I hope it provides information that is useful, and it gives you something to think about or to start discussing with your friends or your family or your support network. So thank you for watching. I wish everybody all the best as always, and until next time, take care.